So you guys want an EDC update? What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things, and before I get into this quick EDC update, let me just say, holy sh**. There's about 15,000 new subscribers here on the channel in the past week alone, so I just wanted to say thank you guys. I know I say thank you a lot, but I really do appreciate the support, and I hope you guys like the variety of content that I have here on my channel. I know a lot of you new subscribers are here to see videos about guns and gear, so today I'm bringing you a quick EDC update. Since my last update video, the gear that I've been carrying really hasn't changed a whole lot. I'm a pretty minimalist person, and when it comes down to what I carry, I like to keep things as simple as possible. About half of the stuff that I'm still carrying today you've probably seen in a video before, so I'll definitely leave those down in the description. So for any of those items, I'll just give you an update on how they're wearing and what I think about them after using them for a little while. So let's start this off with everything Trave Axe. For the past couple of months, I've been carrying my Trave Axe Contour. This is still my go-to wallet and my favorite wallet from them, mainly because I was there to back their project on Indiegogo. I know a lot of people complain about how expensive this wallet is, and I get it, it's definitely not for everyone. However, the leather on this thing is wearing really well. It's just a cool looking wallet, and I get asked questions about it all the time. If you haven't seen my review of these wallets, I'll be sure to leave a link right up here. Next up is the Trave Axe Link. This is their minimalist lanyard with a quick detach point on it. I've always carried my keys on a carabiner before, but I've been using this lanyard for about 2 months now, and I still really like it. I've also done a video on this and the Link stretch, which is obviously the longer stretchier one, so if you haven't seen that yet, I'll definitely leave a link for that right here as well. My keys are pretty minimal, which you don't need to see, but I have my STI fob on here, and then also my Gerber dime. I had the dime attached to the top of the lanyard with a Night Eyes S-Beaner because if I ever want to switch from my car to my motorcycle keys, I can do that while still keeping my dime on here. This dime I've also talked about in my last update video. It's still really useful. I think the thing that I use the most is probably like the flathead screwdriver on here. The blades are nice and also decent enough to open boxes, which I do all the time. And of course the bottle opener. You already know I use that a lot. Alright, next on the list we'll move to the belt, but let's not make this weird. This is the Trave Axe Inch, one of the newest products from Trave Axe, and I just did a video on this as well, so I'll link that right here. I've been wearing this every day for almost a month now, and it's still holding up really well. When I first saw this belt, I was a little worried about how thin it was, but it did seem pretty rigid, and it's actually holding its rigidity fairly well. The buckle of these are super thin and contoured to fit your body, and they come in a bunch of different anodized finishes. This is about as simple and minimalist as you can get with the belt. You probably notice a trend here: minimal belt, minimal lanyard, minimal wallet. I like minimal, simple stuff. A couple people were leaving comments saying that this thing wasn't strong, so I might as well just test it right now. Is this strong enough? I'd say that's pretty strong. Now I am still testing this belt, and a lot of people have been asking me questions about carrying a gun with the belt, and this isn't marketed as a gun belt. This wasn't designed or marketed to be a gun belt. However, it is a minimalist belt that's designed to hold up more than just your pants, so you get the idea. Next up, my light. I'm still carrying the Streamlight MicroStream. This is still my favorite flashlight, mainly because of the clicky tail cap on the back. I've talked about this a bunch before, single AAA, about 35-ish lumens. And one thing that I don't use often but I got to use recently is this pocket clip, how you can put it on the brim of a hat. I was staying up at a buddy's cabin recently and it was really dark up there, so I had my hat on forwards. I stuck this on the brim and then used that to get firewood and stuff like that. I had actually switched this light out since my last EDC update, and I went with the Through Night TI3. That light was a lot smaller than this, had 4 different modes, so it actually got a lot brighter than this as well. But when we were up partying in New York City for St. Patrick's Day, I lost it somewhere, so if you found that, you're welcome. Next, I'll go to my phone for any fellow tech nerds out there. I'm still rocking the Nexus 6P. This phone still kicks ass, it takes great pictures, has a big enough screen for all the media that I consume, good front-facing speakers, a case that I got on Amazon, I'll link that down below, and of course, my pop sockets, which are actually sold out right now, so sorry about that. If anyone out there is interested in like a what's on my phone type of video, I can definitely do that in the future. Just leave it in the comments, and if it gets a bunch of thumbs up, then maybe I'll do that in the future. Now we'll move on to the new stuff. I've got a lot of questions about this knife, which I've shown in videos before, but I never showed in an EDC update video, so no one really knew what it was unless you were following me on Instagram. This is the ZT0804CF, the CF for carbon fiber. It's kind of a funny story how I bought this knife. I had a bunch of gift cards left over from the Christmas season to my local Cabela's, so I went up there just to look around, see if anything caught my eye, and this thing definitely caught my eye. I wasn't even really in the market for a new knife at the time. I was still carrying my Spyderco Man Bug, which you probably saw in my micro EDC update. This all black stealthy looking design really caught my eye, so I asked the guy behind the counter if I could check it out. I've never played with a zero tolerance before, so I wasn't really sure what to to expect. I flipped it open one time and I instantly knew that I had to have it. The action on this knife is one of the most satisfying actions on a knife that I own, and I don't really own expensive knives. This is definitely the most expensive knife that I've ever bought, but I'm really happy with it. This little slab of carbon fiber not only looks really good, but it feels really good in the hand, especially coupled with the titanium backside. This has a custom milled titanium pocket clip, which is really nice, and adjustable lock bar. The blade steel is CTS 204P, and I'm not a really big nerd when it comes to blade steels. I like knives, I really like carrying knives, but I don't use them a whole lot. I myself, like a lot of people who aren't afraid to admit it, fidget with knives more than anything else. Yeah, I do open boxes and packages and letters and stuff like that with this knife, but I really wouldn't do any hard work with this just because it looks so nice. This knife has a custom back spacer, the centering on it is on point as it should be, and as you can see on the pivot here, it's made in the USA, which is a plus. The blade and lock side are both DLC coated, so it should be pretty durable. And I know video doesn't do justice, but the action on this flipper is just awesome. I can open it with pretty much any finger on both my right hand and my left hand. It's super smooth. If you have the money, I'd highly recommend it. Next up, this is something new. A lot of people were asking me questions in my other EDC videos if I carried one of these. At the time I didn't, but now I do. This is a hand spinner from Blade HQ. It's made in collaboration with a knife maker, which I don't even want to try to pronounce the name because I know I'm gonna butcher it, but this thing is actually pretty addictive. I really didn't understand the hype behind these things. I just didn't get it. It's like a top that you used to play with as a kid. You just sit it on a desk and flick it and it spins, but now that I've been carrying it for a while, I fidget with it all the time. I guess people like to talk about spin time on these things, so the longest I've ever had this thing spin was about 2.5 minutes. Now that it's been in my pocket for a while and collecting dirt and lint, it spins for about 1.5 minutes. It just depends on how hard you flick it. I believe this is a solid piece of stainless steel with a black wash finish on it. The buttons are also machined, so they feel really good in the hand, and they actually unscrew so you can clean the bearing if you ever need to. I guess you could say that I'm a fan of these things now, so if you have one that you would recommend to me, let me know down in the comments. I've had my eye on this one by Metal Worn, which is a little expensive for a little fidget hand spinner, but that thing looks awesome, so I'd like to get my hands on that eventually. Alright, next moving on to the gun, which you guys probably saw me pick up last week, and that is my Glock 43. I will clear this thing just to be safe. Can't wait to get more hate comments about that. I've only put about 50 rounds through this so far, so I don't want to do a full-blown review, but I will give you my first impressions of it. The main idea behind buying this gun was that it's super small, single stack, easy to conceal, easy to carry. My Glock 19, which I used to carry every day, is obviously completely modified now, so I'd be more comfortable with carrying and protecting myself, if I ever had to, with a stock handgun. So after 50 rounds, how does this thing shoot? It shoots like a Glock. All stock Glocks shoot pretty much the same in my opinion, so the trigger was pretty predictable, and I shot it really well actually. The gun is pretty small for someone who has big hands like I do, but I would say that it has the shooting characteristics of a bigger gun. In my opinion, it shoots like a scaled down 19 pretty much. Notice how I said in my opinion. The sights I have on here are the True Glow night sights. They're fiber optic sights, and at the end of each dot is a little tritium filled vial, so at night these things are super bright. The fiber optics suck in any ambient light, and then when it gets too dark, the tritium vials in the end shine right through there, so these things are super bright, definitely brighter than my Trijicon HD night sights. For now, I've just been carrying this thing in a cheap Galco holster that I've had for some old guns in the past. There's nothing wrong with this holster, but I would definitely prefer a Kydex holster for appendix carry. I've already put in an order for a QVO Tactical Wingman, and if you haven't seen my video on QVO Tactical, I'll be sure to leave that in the description below. Right now I'm currently just rocking the stock magazine, so it's 6+1 in the gun. I prefer the mag with the little pinky extension on the bottom, but it would be nice if they could make that a +1. It only makes sense. I know a lot of people have been recommending Hive and Terran Tactical base plates, so I'm definitely going to be looking into them in the future. Carry ammo is Federal HST 124 grain, 9mm obviously, and I would definitely recommend practicing and shooting the ammo that you actually carry just to make sure that it cycles through your gun okay. I've run into an issue in the past with the Hornady Critical Defense where the little rubber tip was catching on the polished feed ramp, so definitely make sure that your ammo works with the gun that you're carrying. So that's about it for the gear that I've been carrying lately. Oh yeah, sunglasses too. I get a lot of questions about these glasses. These are the Spy Discords. These have been my favorite sunglasses for the past couple of years now. They're polarized and they fit my face really well. If you've been following me since last summer, you'll probably remember where I lost a pair of these in the ocean down in Ocean City, Maryland. So if you found those, you're welcome. Oh yeah, and shameless plug, my TS Stuff and Things logo hat. For anyone new here who really likes Stuff and Things and all the free content that I put out every week, you can actually go down to my merch store in the description below. Unfortunately, I've sold out of most stuff, but I still have a bunch of hats left, so from now until the end of the week, I'm going to be putting the hats on sale. If you like the logo and you enjoy Stuff and Things, you can go pick up one of the remaining hats in both this white color and then the gray color. There's only about 30 left, so hopefully they will all be gone before I start my move this weekend. If you place an order, I'll definitely be getting those out to you as soon as possible. So that is it for today. Thank you you guys for all the support. I try to reply to as many comments as possible. I like talking to you guys. So if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you're new here, and I will talk to you in the next one.